a name called Philip Truman, something like that. See, not sure of the last name, but it's Philip. I put him as about 5'5", 5'6", short hair. He's straight hair, light coloured hair, shoulder length hair. Matter of fact, he's over here behind you.
Don't put the right in.
He was a traveller. He's like a salesman. I think he was actually coming through. He just did sales work, stuff like that. So I feel he got very sick, very ill, so there might be some medical records or something you might be able to check up on that one. Very sick, and that's why he ended up dying here, either pneumonia or something like that. And Isabel. Isabella. Can't get her last name properly, it's really long. It's almost like similar to Holden. Steinberg or whatever, Steinborn.
Oh, Steinborn.
That type of name, something like that. I think she was German. Dutch, sorry, got corrected. Did that Dutch ones over here, did they? There's a large man that's standing next to John there. I feel he was a miner. He's got a big beard, big whiskers, very scruffy looking character. Very, he's another one that had an accident in the mines, trying to get his name. Mike, they used to call him Mick. Can't get his last name. Started with a B, I think. Got killed in a fight. Okay, fair enough. Was there a local burial here somewhere? Did people used to get buried out the back? Like a graveyard or something like that out here? A long time ago?
Not aware of, but...
Wasn't many there, it was just like as though they buried some people. It was almost like as though there was like a small mini cemetery type thing out the back. People used to get buried in there.
Anything's possible in the early days. But not that I've come
Because that's
across.
what it seems like. It seems like as though he was buried like something like that. It was like a little cemetery that was out the back somewhere out here. And he was buried in there.
Cemetery or cave-in? Cemetery or cave-in? One of the tunnels?
I can't hear from you, sorry. Can't comprehend what you're saying, sorry.
Oh, okay. Is it not from one of the tunnels falling in, caving in?
I don't know whether it could have been that. If it was, there would have been 6 of them. 6 dies in one hit.
Possible.
There was, I'm talking about 6 bodies, 6
Yeah,
people.
that's very possible because there was heaps of mine shaft collapses. And we know the shaft goes along Christ Street.
Is there branches coming off of that shaft?
Yep.
Because it's almost like as though it's down the back down there. That's what I was getting told, it's down the back. Getting back to the women, one of these ladies from around the other end down there, named Michelle, she just popped in. She just came through. I love how they walk through walls. They don't have doors. Over there there's no walls and doors, so they just walk through. She was one of those ones that, prostitutes or whatever it is that you, madams, whatever it is, I don't know.
Sarah this week?
Well, I'd said Sarah last time I was here, and I specifically asked out the back earlier, and I'm actually wondering whether it wasn't Sarah, I'm actually wondering whether it was actually Jenny.
Oh, okay.
Because I did ask specifically for her name tonight.
Right.
And that's when I was getting Jenny.
Could be getting a Jennifer.
Could be a middle name too.
It
Sarah,
could be.
Jennifer, Jennifer, Sarah.
Might have a last name you can check up for her. It's Mackenzie. I feel it's Mackenzie anyway, because there was nothing else that I could say that was similar to it. It actually sounded like Mackenzie. I don't feel like as though she was here with the mother and father. It was only just female. Her mum, that was it. It was her mother. You might be able to check through the medical side of things to find all this out, because I feel like as though the mother had also died medical reasons, like pneumonia or something like that as well, or some disease or something anyway. But yeah, she died somewhere along like that. She wasn't killed, and that's why the daughter's still here, around here, because I feel like it's connected to her. If I jump all over the place, that's how it goes. A lot of names I get may not necessarily be located for here, because I get names thrown at me just about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've got another one just then called Steve Turner. So I don't know whether that's anything. I think his middle name is Jacob. Stephen Jacob Turner. So you might be able to check that one out. There was a lot of salespeople, or a lot of people that were travelling through. A lot of travellers that stayed here, and this is in the early years, and some of these names I'm getting might well be from the early years, because some of them are travellers, some of them they come through and then died here. They never actually got to where they were going, so their families don't know they're actually dead, and they sort of, yeah, we a lot of women die here. There are more women than men.
It's possible.
Just that I'm just mostly getting women's names here. They had Pauline. They called her Paula. But yeah, Pauline. Never liked her name. She's got dark hair. Dark brown hair, I reckon it is. Curly or wavy hair. It's all not real tight curl, but wavy hair. I don't feel she was one of the women that was down there. She got good clothing on. She got like I don't know what year it was, but they had the puffed up dresses. You know, the puffed sleeves or whatever they are. She's got that type of sleeves on. You remember that John Faulkner, whatever it was? That's nothing to do with the major, was it? Because there's some majors here again. Is that major? I don't know, I can't associate with it, I can't work it out, but there's majors here. I'm just wondering whether it is that same bloke. They're all lined up like as though they're wanting to come through, but no one's really strong. It's not getting strong. That's annoying. Annoys me. Oh, it's on Sam's idea to try and get it.
So the major,
Hmm?
do you have a description of him?
I feel he's actually a tall person. Tall, strong build, moustache. There's clean shaven with a moustache. Got a real prominent moustache. You remember you said something about gunfights, how they used to do down there? I reckon he was one of them. It was like as though he was one of them, and he survived a few before he actually got killed. There was a few got killed with the barroom fights, getting up a lot of miners fighting. There was a lot of people getting killed down there. I know they'll get more response to that room in there.
Which room?
One next door in there, whatever that wherever that goes in there.
Remember, go
Free.
there and go wherever you
I know,
feel.
I was just down there just a minute ago, there was a spirit standing in there, I was just going to have a yak with it, come here first.
That's where I mostly feel things is in there, especially when because every tour I would stand just out here, talk to them before or during the tour. I'll talk to them and stuff. And sometimes I could stand right here. Sometimes I have to stand back over by that other wall because it's like, nah, I'm not getting too close. Sometimes I would not get too close to that room.
Alright, yeah, it was a very strong presence there, standing there, almost in the doorway too.
Yeah. But most of the time I can stand out here and talk to them. But a lot of times, no, back over there.
A lot of men died in this room as well. What significant is 1870? Was this built before?
Before then, yeah.
Oh, cool. I was going to say 1870, it's got that loud and clear. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to mean. I was just trying to see if I could put pictures. Was there a mine disaster or something around 1870?
Yeah,
I'm getting a real
Yeah,
strong feeling on
around that time.
I would say there was there might have been a big disaster or something happened in the 1870s because yeah, a lot of people got killed and the hotel was used for a lot of people getting ferried in here for they got been injured and everything else. So there was a lot of activity around here at that particular time. Eh? Yeah, they made this like a makeshift hospital. So it was like that at a particular time. That's where a lot of people died in 1870. You'll be able to check that up with the mines and whatever, quarry and that.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone's saying something about sore bones. I guess that's the doctor. A lot of ailments, a lot of people saw the sore bones here. Was this one of the doctor's rooms as well, or whatever in here? Was any consulting happening in here? It's almost like as though, that's what they're saying, something about the sore bones was in here as well.
Don't
Did
know
he stay in
specifically.
here, Dr. Blood or whatever?
Possibly. I don't know specifically what this was in the 1800s, but I know what it was in the 1900s.
Okay, because it was almost like like a sawbone stayed here. So the sawbones to me is the old saying of doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor that was in here, stayed in here. Whether he died in here, I can't know. I can't get no clear recollection on it. I keep getting the name Trevor. All night I've been walking around, all I get is Trevor. It's driving me bloody nuts.
Who's Trevor? What's Trevor?
I don't know what the hell he's got to do with it. Probably got nothing to do with it, but I just keep getting that name all the time. Could be someone following me around. There's more under this ground to this hotel than what you realise. You know how you're saying there's a shaft of mine going that way? There's another shaft somewhere in here that's going that way. Yeah, whether it's not necessarily under the hotel, but it's out the front out here somewhere. There's some shaft that's going out, going down, might be going under the houses out here, or something like that, or a road or something like that, but it's going that way. Kids died here too. Some kids, because they're saying that the kids played in it. That's why I know that's what they're saying about that time. Kids used to hack around quite a bit, playing, that's what they used to play in there, and also in the mining tunnel. And they stopped the kids playing in the mining tunnel because it got unsafe at a certain time. Weird, but interesting. You can make sense out of this later on.
It's mining. There'd be tunnels everywhere.
Sorry?
So been mining, it'd be tunnels everywhere.
Yeah, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? But yeah, there were certain ones that actually that people would mainly use though. And it's like this one that went out that way for some reason or other, that was used a lot. And the one going down that way was used a lot. That's mainly the two that I'm getting that they used, mostly. I don't even know what that one goes to, mainly the two.
Now see what I was saying, Darrell? You know how I was saying that the hallway gets wider every doorway? See, it gets wider there.
These floors aren't too bad.
Alright, yeah.
So every single time you go through one of those, it gets that little bit wider every time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that.
The other light bulb had, they rolled plated.
Now this is where you got to start being careful. See the ceiling?
Like,
Yeah, that's those slats stuff.
Yeah,
I was
that's
talking
slats.
about.
But you got to be careful of the floor here because of all the rubbish.
Yep, yep, that's cool. Got a John here. Got a John in here. A John.
there'll be some maybe we need to shift that.
I probably won't go there.
No,
Like
this
a
is all
John,
solid
John
here.
Richards,
No,
I
I'm
think, or
not
something
about
like that. Something to do with either Richard or something, Ron John. The two of them in there.
That's right.
We get scared again.
No, I'm not scared.
Now, where's that? No light bulb?
The lady put down
Yeah,
there.
it's the hole in the ceiling.
No light bulb?
Yeah, this floor goes up and down, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a lot. No light bulb?
Table, I think it's been on. This little boy was down here, came from here. This is the last bedroom.
Yeah, this is the end of the hall.
Little boy came from down
Pull
here.
that light. So
Yep.
the others can see.
Yep. Switches on the side if it turns off on you.
No, they need a light on.
Oh,
No, no, no.
That's alright, can you keep it? I don't need, I've got this so I can see.
Trying to get back here. Oh,
yeah. It doesn't like my eye.
This is the room, when we're doing the tours, we don't come past that gate.
mm.
And people can see down here, they shine their torches and they often see, looks like a person kind of steps into that like that and then steps back. Now, I haven't seen it because I'm always in door 9, I'm always in
There's a
room
lot of
9 telling the
apprehension in here.
stories.
There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of apprehension, there's a lot of it's almost like as though people want to escape.
I don't blame you.
I do, I get a lot of feeling like as though there's a lot of people here, a lot of people, it's like as though, you know when a person gets claustrophobic, they want to get out? It's like that. It's like as if we've got spirits in here that are like that they want to get out, but they can't.
Well, can you help him?
Probably can in a minute. I'll find out a bit more.
Maybe some of them want to pass over, they need help.
I've got a lady's name. I feel that she's an older lady in here. Probably from one of the ones that used to practice their prostitution or whatever they call it. Like a madam. And I feel like I don't get her name properly, but it starts with an L. It's almost like it's not Laura Lee, but something, it's an older name. She was the one that basically was the boss. She was the one that, you know, got the girls to do what they had to do or something like that. I feel she's trapped in here because, and she's feeling like as though it's her, it's come back at her, and that's why she has to stay here. It's almost like as though she's trapped.
So she's paying her dues kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And even though, I'll just explain for what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a lot of crying now and a lot of like pain sort of thing. It's almost like as though they're crying, they're saying to her that that's not her fault. It was because what she had to do. They're forgiving her, believe it or not. It was one of the girls, kids that were in here. That little boy, it was one of the girls. There was an accident, shouldn't have happened. She got told off for it very much and got punished actually. I feel the girls even got starved, so I don't know why, but I feel like as though some of the girls in here never got fed properly. It's not here, it's just near the next room or the next couple of rooms. It's almost like as though they used all the rooms in here, and it was don't feel good about it at all. It's really horrible. What they went through wasn't really nice. There was a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and I'm talking there was a lot of it. I don't know how many years it went for, Alan, but yeah, there was a lot of hurt and pain this end. From we had that gate down this end here, there was a lot of anger. There's a lot of, like I say, there was just a lot of frustration. People building up with all the spirits, frustration and anger and everything in here. Spirits don't have anger, but they have the anxiety. They have, like as I was saying before, they want to get out. It's that type of feeling. And that's how it is here at the particular moment. And I'm talking about there's a nice lady that's standing here. I'm seeing her as being sandy coloured hair. There was fairly long hair, she had down to about here. And I'm not sure whether there was another girl that was around. She used to brush her hair. She used to be sitting here. I don't know whether there was like a chair here with a dressing table type thing. But she'd be sitting here and she'd be brushing her hair facing that direction with a mirror or something. But she'd be brushing her hair here, sitting there. It was almost like as though she was like an adult but in a child's mind. So she wasn't really fully as an adult. So I see her, like I said to you before, it's sandy coloured hair. I see her has a round face. She was like a round face.
She more adolescent.
Sorry?
More adolescent?
Yeah, pretty much, but I don't feel like as though she had a woman's body, but she had a child's mind. So it's almost like as though she hadn't been let out for quite a while, she was just hemmed in, she was like locked up, basically. She was a very nice kid and everything else, but
Maybe that's where they locked her all up and down here.
the one that's brushing her hair is an older one, been there for quite a while. She was more used to it. She had dark hair, curly hair, but it was short. But it wasn't never trimmed properly. It was like it was very so it was hacked. These women had their hair ripped out. They were punched. They were kicked. It was brutal. Wasn't very nice at all. That Pauline, I said the name before. I said Pauline or something. Paulie. She was from here. That Tony, like I said back over there, that's a female. That wasn't a male, that was only female. They're glad a lot of this is getting out because they're actually feeling better because a lot of people are starting to know of what happened here. That's actually making them feel a lot better. You may not necessarily have it so bad around because they're starting to sort of come to the understanding. A lot of people knowing about it makes them feel better.
Okay. We've opened up a door.
Sorry?
Opened up the door.
Basically, it is opening up the doors, yes.
Can you get an era?
But I don't feel like as though they're wanting to leave as such in the way of from the hotel type thing. They just want to escape out the room. They need freedom. But they know they can't have that freedom, but even though they know they've got it. Does that make sense?
They can come and talk to me in the bar.
They will. They will. Because like I said to you before, remember what I said to you, Alan, I feel like as though they're venturing further and further out.
Yep.
And I do feel they are. They're venturing further and further out. So the cook lady there, she will probably feel more of them coming down there, and they might not, and you may not actually feel them getting so much anger so much anymore. You won't probably feel the hostility so much anymore.
I haven't ever felt it.
No, but
No.
that's up here. You wouldn't. I'm saying that you won't feel it down there anyway. But
No, I
people
mean I've
won't.
never felt anything bad.
Or you did once, you told me. But you won't feel a lot of it from up here. If anyone comes up this way or up near the top of it, you won't feel it so much anymore. And if they go down there, that one that you had down there was a male that was up here that died up here under extreme circumstances. And I feel that was one of the ones that came down and that you did experience in the kitchen area down there.
Now I've got a question for you.
Oh, the throwing of the...
There is an audible footstep noise that comes from this room and it walks all the way up the hallway and walks all the way back.
That would be that male.
It has been heard by Darren, who owns Ghost Crime Tours. He was standing in the hallway and when it went up the hallway, it actually vibrated the air.
Yeah.
But
That
in
would
room
be the
9
male. When it vibrates again, see, the spirits is an energy vibration. Okay, so therefore you will get a ripple effect in the energy when there's movement and stuff like that with the spirits. So, but having the audible there, that would be that male that I was talking about.
Yep.
And I feel that I'll put it in their terms, he haunts.
Mm-hmm.
He haunts this area, and that's how it is. And he's not going to change. I feel like I said, he had a very horrible death in here. It's almost like as though his name's similar to Bill or something like that, Phil, Bill, whatever, along that particular line, because there was an ill word after it. But yeah, he's the one that you'd hear the footsteps, you would hear that quite clearly. That's his way of letting people know that he's not happy, he doesn't want them here, and he doesn't want people to come around here. But I think you'll find that you may not actually have that effect anymore. You might still hear the footprints and that, but you may not feel the hostility or that coming from him so much as such.
Yeah.
Because he's realising a lot of the times now that people aren't there to hurt him, and they're not here to actually mock him or anything like that. That's why it's all right in here. No one's feeling scared or anything in here. I've got an Alice that was born in 1864.
Was
She
she
was
living
born
next
in
to you?
1864. I feel she died about
Sorry, honey, I know it's
1892.
bedroom.
1892 I feel she died. She was sitting down over here. I see her having light coloured, almost blondish coloured hair, wavy. I put her as slight build. I don't see her as being very tall, probably about the height of you, Jackie, but slight build, very slim, similar to tree build.
Lucky her.
Um,
What period of clothing
sorry?
did she have? Was she well-to-do?
No, she was a poor girl. And I feel like as though, was these rooms ever used for quarters?
Yeah.
You know, like for the hotel?
Yeah.
Because it's like as though she worked here, that type of person. Sorry, my nose is running like a tap here. But yeah, she worked here. I really do feel she did. It's almost like she did have a uniform. It was a real funny hat. I don't know what it is, for white, fluffy, fluffy looking thing. I don't know what that was for, but anyway, I'll see that. And then it was almost like as though, do you remember, I remember seeing years ago a nurse's uniform. But she wasn't a nurse, but I saw a nurse's uniform where she had white on the sleeves, and they had a different colour there, but had white sleeves and had white sort of
Those cuffs used to keep their
pattern type thing on them.
keep their sleeves clean. They used to put white cuffs over the top of their sleeves.
That's it,
They
like
just
that,
kept them out
like
of the
that
water
type of,
and
well
whatever.
that's what the uniform that she sort of had was similar to that. And, there was her, there was actually quite funny because she was friends with another woman that was a larger build. It was a bit like Laurel and Hardy. So, but yeah, they were really nice friends. And that was actually, her friend was Jenny. It's another Jenny.
Another Jenny?
Mm.
Can you ask them? Well, I can ask them, can't I? I don't need to ask you to ask them. Was these other two rooms on the other side kitchen? Because they have chimneys.
Yes and no, not as such. It's actually, I don't really necessarily feel that it was like a kitchen. It was more like a living room type thing, where there was like a chimney type thing there, but it was like for heating and something like that. Where they heated in there.
Okay.
But I don't know. I didn't actually feel like it was.
Alright, I got a question. Dr. Blood, why is he synonymous with this part of the hotel? He affects, it may not be actually him, but when you mention his name normally he sets off equipment, the words doctor and blood together.
Sometimes they can take offence to that. It all depends on how it's said. If you sort of say it as Dr. Blood, you know, people sort of imagine that as being a bad thing.
Well, he was a person. He was an actual person.
He was
Yeah,
adopted
I know,
the first
but,
time.
He was the first mayor of Kapunda, and he was the first mine doctor.
Yeah, so
Um,
people, he might think of himself as being a very good person, and when people refer him to as Dr. Blood, well then, you know, it might be, he takes
Disrespectful.
offence to it.
Tone,
I'm sorry.
and actually the he
Intent.
might prefer to be addressed as something other than Dr.
Well, he
Blood.
might prefer to be called Mr. Mayor.
Mr.
Mayor
Mayor,
Blood.
If you can do something like that, I
Yes.
think you'll find it'll make him a lot happier. More down that end, he's
Yep.
more down there,
Mm.
not so much up here.
Particularly around room 9.
Sorry?
Particularly around room 9, he seems to be.
Is that up there, is it?
Yeah, that's up the other end. This is room 14, this one.
He's up there now, I feel like as though he's up there now.
So
And
Dr.
also
Blood's
that
actually here.
one leg,
Sorry.
not one leg chap, the one that, you got someone walking, is there someone that walks around in here, has got like a stiff leg? It's almost like as though it walks normal one leg and then it's stomp, stomp,
Well, yeah.
because it's almost like I see a bloke walk around with this.
One of the stories we tell is of a guy who had a leg amputated by Dr. Blood, which is apparently in this room. Dr. Blood takes the amputated leg down to room 9, and then when he gets back here, the young guy's died. And that's supposed to be the ghost that walks up and down the hallway. But the problem is, the ghost that walks up and down the hallway, you can
That's
actually
not
hear
Harold.
2
Harold's the one
footsteps.
that's had his leg done.
Yeah, well, this one that you hear actually has audible 2 steps. If it was one-legged, he'd have one
Yeah,
or a one and a peg.
yeah.
But this is 2 steps you hear.
Yeah, no, the one, like I said, that big bloke that walks up and down here, that's him. Harold is the one that I feel is the one that had the accident, the collapse on his legs and everything else, and had Dr. Blood or whatever it is, the mayor amputated, and he's the one that died. I think, not sure what this room, I thought it was a room up there though.
Oh, see, it's hard to tell because the stories are kind of a bit. Because I don't think the numbers had rooms, but the rooms had numbers back in those days either.
Yeah,
I think the
but,
numbers are a lot
I
more
don't know
modern.
which room we were in, Karen, but there was in that one, wasn't this one,
It was the
there was
first
one up
one.
there, and that's where I felt that he actually died in that one up there.
Yeah, 9.
It's possible.
I want to ask why I can't see the little girl.
Ask them.
Keep going with the questions, guys, because they're answering.
Are they?
Yeah.
Leanne, ask her,
She's not here though.
Ask her. Are you here?
Is the little girl here?
Down there and down there. She's
I
just
wanna
standing
know
there
why-
looking at us.
I
You want to go
wanna know
down,
why
you can have a
I
chat
can't
with
see
her.
her.
In the doorway.
Yeah, but I want to know why I can't see it.
Some people can, some people can't. That's actually something I can answer, because everyone's got intuition, and
Yeah.
intuition, some people have got it in different ways than other people. Not everybody sees, not everybody hears, not everybody feels.
But she
Everyone
spends a
has-
lot of time in the kitchen.
But did you have something knock over in the kitchen the other day?
No, she does all sorts of things.
It's almost like as though she's saying sorry about knocking something
Don't
over or
have
doing
to
something.
apologise, she's funny.
Is it with Leanne or was it with the other girl?
No, it's another girl. That was
With
that
the
little
other-
one,
with the other
the little
yeah.
one. That Jennifer. It's Sarah's first name, Jennifer's second.
There was, during one tour, we had a young lady, she was 18 years old and she was gifted. And she was playing with the spirit box out on the balcony. What she was picking up on, did that actually happen here? Was she correct in what she was feeling and seeing?
Well, I was getting yes before you finished it, so I gathered that was a yes.
Yeah,
More to that too.
yeah.